Got your back against the wall, no, you know you never had a chance. Should've known better, now you better make other plans. There's no going back, gotta let you know in advance. This is Game's card.
Alright, so I play 3 Patrulia.
Okay, and exactly what does that do?
Okay, so this is a level 4 Infernoid monster that requires 1 Infernoid banished to summon.
Okay.
And when once per turn, he can pop a back row on your opponent's side of the field. And on your opponent's turn, he can tribute any monster on your side of the field, including himself, to banish a card in your opponent's graveyard. So say like your opponent's trying to resolve a Altair and they target Deneb, you activate this effect, tribute him off, banish the target, so it doesn't resolve. So it kind of like takes that Altair loop out of it.
So it's basically a DD Crow purpose.
Yeah, it's a DD Crow and it's an MST with 1800 attack, but if you use his effect on your turn to pop a back row, he can't attack. That's the only downside.
Okay.
I'm playing 2 Antra, and Antra bounces any face-up card on your opponent's side of the field on your turn. He also has the same effect on your opponent's turn. He's the little Infernoids. They can tribute a monster on your side of the field once per turn, and banish a card out of your opponent's graveyard. He's not the best. That's why I only play him at 2, but he's sometimes necessary. So he gets rid of like Winda or any face-up problems like Dante.
Okay, so he's good for anything that prevents graveyard effects, in a way.
Basically, like he just bounces up a Seer or bounces like face-up cards that you're having a problem with. Like he bounces like Construct, Valk. I mean, yeah, Valk's not the best card, but like this deck has a lot of problems with Valkyries on the field because it's like a 2900 beater, and the only card in your deck that really gets around that is either Harmadic or like this card, or Darkhole, Raigeki. Like you have to use a lot of resources to get rid of Valkyries, and it's just a problem card, so you can get rid of it with this. And they have to summon it again, waste other mana.
It's good.
Yeah. So next card I play is Infernoid Pyramid.
And exactly what does that do?
So this is 0 attack, 0 defense. It's a level 1. That's pretty relevant because it doesn't really count much towards your level requirement. Your level requirement for Infernoids is you have to in order to summon an Infernoid monster, you have to have a monster with an effect monster with or effective rank of monsters that I control have to be 8 or lower. So cards like Gemini Pearl, Scrap Archfiend, they're all really relevant when you go into your extra deck. So I'll get to that later. But what he really does is he targets a set card, any set card, monster or back row, and your opponent cannot respond with that card to this activation, and he sends it back to the deck, and they shuffle it, and it's basically like a Nike.
All of them have that requirement.
All the Infernoids have that level requirement, and yeah.
So if it's exactly level 8, can you summon more?
So if it's level 8, yes, I can summon more. So if I bring out a level 8 monster with an effect,
or rank.
Or rank with an effect, I could summon another one, but then I would be at my limit, and then I wouldn't be able to summon anymore.
Okay.
And these little ones, they can only be summoned from the hand. So when they're in the grave, they can't be summoned again.
They could be banished for other ones.
They're just like food for the big ones, but we'll get to the big ones later.
Okay.
Next I play 2 Harmadic. He pops monsters. He's also the most expensive one, but he does the same thing as Patrulia. He can't attack if he uses effect, and he is on your opponent's side of the your opponent's turn. He does the same effect where he can tribute himself to banish a card. He's 1600 beater. He's not that bad, but I wouldn't play more than 2.
Okay. All the numbers pricey.
Yeah. He's also level 3. It's pretty good. I play 3 Sightsmiths. This card's really, really, really good in a lot of matchups, like BA especially, because if he attacks an opponent's monster, at the end of the battle phase, he could target a card on your opponent's side of the field and banish it. He requires 2 Infernoids from the grave or hand banished to summon, and he is a level 7, so you can have access to cards in your extra deck like Dracosac, Big Eye.
Which are the good ones?
Yeah, they're really broken. So you could take your opponent's Valkyries.
So in a way, with that card, saying it's good against Burning Abyss.
It's extremely good against Burning Abyss.
So let's say if you were to, because that's if I remember correctly, that card can only attack monsters for its effective resolve.
Yeah, it has to attack a monster on your opponent's side of the field, and your opponent, when they're playing Burning Abyss, they're most likely going to have a monster. They're going to be graph looping or having a Dante or just summoning.
So you would attack the one that poses less of a threat just to get rid of a Dante.
Yeah, I would attack the graph, then they'd summon a monster, and then I'd probably just banish the Dante at the end of the battle phase. It's pretty good.
And what happens if it has materials on it? You couldn't get over that then.
I mean, it has 2,500 defense. Like,
Yes.
so it'll get over. It'll get over. The only problem is when they make Downard, like they'll get the Dante effect, but you know, usually when they start like doing seer loop with Dante, they only have one seer now, so. You know, if I banish the seer with this card's effect, you know, it's pretty much over. They can't recycle that card anymore.
Because when they activate engrave, you could just chain to say.
I can just chain my cards' effects and just banish their cards, so they don't resolve. So they're usually not going to be resolving Scarm or Seer, or you know, if they Dante target Seer, like I'll just banish the Seer.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. The next two banish that I use is INFERNOID Tondel, and I play 3 of him. He's one of your strongest monsters for banishing 2, and he when he attacks and destroys a monster, he can attack again.
Yep.
So he's really powerful.
So he has a BLS effect.
He's like the BLS effect. He's a level 8, so I can put 2 Tondels on the field, and I can push for a lot of damage. That makes my late game even better. So my next card I play is Divyati. Divyati's like a heavy storm. He's a heavy storm. He's really good in against windups, clees. You know, he's just really broken. He when your opponent wants to activate a effect monster's effect, you could tribute a card on your side of the field, tribute a monster, and you can negate that your opponent's monster's effect and banish that card. So say like your opponent's trying to use Bar for game, or you know, or like use a Dante, you just activate his effect, negate the monster, banish the Dante. It's really broken.
Okay, so negates and banish.
Yeah, negates and banishes monster effects only. But like his counterpart, Anuku, he negates and banishes spell and traps.
Okay.
And he's also an out to towers. He's level 10. He requires 3 banishes as well. He's really powerful. He's 3,000 attack, and I'll tell you a combo later with him with Ancient Sacred Wyvern. So that's all for the Infernoid monsters.
All right.
And now we're gonna get to the other monsters I play in the deck, the normal summons. So I play 1 Lila. He gets rid of problem back row, like lose a turn, and
Floodgates.
yeah, just floodgates that I have problems with, or you know.
Infernoids have a lot of floodgate problems.
Yeah, just like general cards. Like now that vanities isn't an issue, like you know, you don't really have like a problem. But I feel like I want to main deck an out to Imperial Iron Wall just in case. But it doesn't come up. But like it's still good because your opponent, like if you summon this against Tellers, like you're gonna be popping all their back row. You're gonna be using Petrulia. So I usually try to hit all their back row away before they can, like, you know, call the Haunted, make all their Call the Haunteds alive, and then...
What about, like, trap stuns?
I mean, trap stuns don't really hurt my deck because I don't really play any traps, so...
Yeah, but it also hurts your opponent's deck, so let's say you have floodgate cards, you go and stop those and then go on with your plays.
Yeah, you're right. But my other cards that I play is 2 Lumina and 2 Raiden. 2 Raiden as my other Lightsworns. Lumina's really good because he revives any of your other Lightsworns, and Raiden's really good because he mills 2, and then he's also a tuner, so you can like make synchros from your extra deck, and yeah. So I play 3 level 4s, and I also play a Card Trooper. I think that 6 reasoning targets is the appropriate number.
3 level 3s, 3 level 4s?
Yeah, 3 level 3s, 3 level 4s, because your opponent's usually going to say 4 on reasoning. So that's like not even a problem for me, because if they call 4 on reasoning, Raiden goes to the grave, and say I have a charge in hand, I charge the Light Brigade, mill 3, add Lumina, discard a big Infernoid, and you know, summon the Raiden, like make Black Rose, make Michael, make like a really big synchro, and just like start summoning my Infernoid monsters.
What happens if your opponent doesn't know what you're playing and you do reasoning?
So usually this deck takes a lot of people by surprise. So your opponent's going to probably be reading a lot of the cards, but when you play against the deck and when you know what they all do, this will hopefully help you out against the matchup, and you know, help you out with like.
Because there have been people in the past that call higher than 4, not knowing that they can't be normal summoned.
Exactly. Reasoning is a really good card. I'm going to show you that. right now. It allows you to play like cards in your deck like Christio or Spell Canceller. So like when you go against Necros, like in the past you would have Spell Cancelers and they would call. It's a level 5, so your opponent would probably call 4, and then you go to summon the Spell Canceller off Reasoning, and basically you activate it. Your opponent calls a level. You just start revealing cards. Basically, you're activating cards from the top of your deck until you have a normal summonable monster. It overpasses all the Infernoid monsters because they cannot be normal summoned that way. So your targets are the 5 Light Sworns and the 1 Card Trooper, and then like and depending on what you side into your deck, like those cards as well. So I don't think that Pero is a very good card because it doesn't really get around like it's a problem for reasoning, because if I reasoning a Pero, I'm going to be very upset because my opponent could just leave that on the board, or like it doesn't really do anything. Like I don't want to reasoning that. It doesn't advance my game state at all. Yep. So it's just a level on the field, and it doesn't.
Okay.
I play the 1 Monster Gate. Basically, I tribute a monster. My opponent doesn't call a level. I just reveal cards until I find a monster that I could normal summon, like the Card Trooper or the Light Sworns, and I special summon that, and then I keep going, and I like make my plays like that.
Which is why that card's that 1.
Yeah, it's
a better reasoning.
It should definitely be a 2. It should definitely be a 2.
If you had 2, it would be too much.
Hey man, you don't know. Konami could do anything. So then we play 3 Upstart, and the Upstarts are for consistency and to get to the reasonings faster. But sometimes you open awkward hands like all Infernoids, or no real cards to mill. So you're gonna be stuck banishing cards from your hand, and that's pretty bad because like
either way that card's a plus.
Yeah,
because you're drawing a card, plus your opponent also getting 1,000, which you're going to OTK them anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because you're going to OTK your opponent. Like your monsters are all really big, and it's not a big deal to give your opponent that life points when you're trying to get this main card. It's like your win condition. So then I play a 2 Charge Light Brigade for the Light Sworns. Kind of self-explanatory. If they call 4 off the reasoning, hit the Raiden, I'll go grab Lumina.
Or they hit the Lumina, you go Raiden. Either way.
Yeah,
whichever
exactly.
matters.
Exactly. So like, it's just an out to Iron Wall if they have.
It is
if they flip, if they have it, like if I use Reasoning and then they flip Iron Wall, I can use Charge, get Lila, and then pop Iron Wall and then make my plays there. Find that Raigeki also for big pushes, OTKs. My monsters are all huge. Like they're all gonna be putting in a lot of damage. That's why I also play double Dark Hole. It's pretty good. I could also protect my monsters with Dark Hole with using this card, which is called Void Seer.
Also, sometimes not necessary. Sometimes, not always.
It's not always necessary to use it, but if it's in your grave and you have Dark Hole, like you're probably going to use it, and it negates the destruction of a. When it's in grave, it negates the destruction of a Infernoid monster, and it also it's a quick play spell. So you could target one of your Infernoids on your opponent's or your turn, and it's unaffected by all their effects, all your opponent's card effects, like their extra deck monsters, all their effects, like Torrential, anything, Fiendish, any card. Another card I like to play is Burial. It's like gives you a lot of recursion for your monsters when you're like banishing a lot of cards. Like you banish a lot, and like sometimes you like run out late game, and that can be very problematic because you run out of Infernoids to banish, and this is a really good card to replenish your graveyard. Another good card is Galaxy Cyclone, and it's also really great because when it goes to grave, you could use it to pop a face-up spell or trap on your opponent's side of the field. Also, a lot of opponents don't really think that this card is in your hand, so they're not gonna flip up all their spells and traps. It's like MST, but it's really good. So I don't play any traps. I'm thinking about playing Torrential Tribute. I'm not really sure yet.
Or if it's trapless, you should also consider running Denko.
Yeah, I mean Denko would be good, but it's also an effect. It has an effect, so it kind of conflicts with my end game. But
it's also always a possibility.
True. Yeah, that's true. So my extra deck, I'm gonna start off with Gemini Pearl. He's a normal Exceed monster, so he's not level requirement for the Infernoid, so I could
He has
continue.
no effect.
He has no effect, so I could continue to summon my Infernoids and have a 26 beater on the field. After I milled with Raiden or like popped with Petrulia, I go into this and then continue to summon my Infernoids to OTK my opponent. I play Draco Sack and Big Eye because the level 7s for Sights Miss. I also play the Ptolemaeus and Diamond combo because BA is still a threat. Even in this format, they're still a good deck. So you gotta watch out for that. I play Diamond Dire, clears my board, pops a card on their field. Very good spot removal. I think it's good. I play Castell because I think that it's better than 101 right now, just because like not a lot of monsters are like being special summoned in attack position. There's a lot of Dantes and just
and also it's good against Shaddolls.
Yeah, it's good against Shaddolls, but I'm probably not expecting a lot of Shaddolls.
It's a possibility.
I mean, my Shaddol matchup's really, really good because they're usually not going to resolve Falco, or they're not going to have more than their constructs. Usually just going to get banished, so
yes.
it's not a big deal.
Yes.
For level 7s, I run Scrap Archfiend. He's also a normal monster, which is pretty good. He has 2700 attack.
Because we always got that tuner and Raiden.
Yeah, Raiden's really good. Clear Wing, Black Rose, Dragon. It's not first, but sad face. Sad face. Michael, because the Lightsworns are, they're really prevalent. And,
you can always banish.
You can always just banish their cards, banish problem cards. He also replenishes the Lightsworns when they're all in the grave. You just make this, and, you make your Reasons live again. I play Ancient Sacred Wyvern, because if you summon a Nunku, I'm gonna get a Nunku out. A Nunku is the level 10, so he can get over towers and like blow up towers and 9/11 up in there. But
and this is
and he just like
100 damage, people.
So that's 8100 damage if you attack with this, and then like he'd become 51 attack.
Yep.
Game them right there. That's OTK.
8100. That's
why it's
over.
Really,
that's without upstarts being an effect.
Yeah. So if you don't use upstart, you make that combo. Like this is gonna usually win you the game. You're gonna, even if late game, like this card can get really, really powerful, and it's really scary to go against.
It's good early and late game, no matter what.
Exactly. So that OTK can come out from like almost nowhere, and your opponent really, if they don't have the traps to stop it, like they're just really pretty much screwed.
And the tuners you run are always lights.
Yeah, it requires a light monster and a tuner, and a non-tuner monster. A light tuner and a non-tuner monster.
Which is good because Raiden and Lumina sync for 7.
Yeah, exactly. So then I'm playing Goyo. He's just good level 6. Get into with Antra and Raiden. It's not bad.
Gets over those problem cards. You could actually do a lot. You could take their window. You could take that Trish. You could take, well, not that Trish, but
yeah, Trish is banned. Yeah.
You could take the good stuff.
Yeah. In the level 8s, I play Crimson Blader and Drop Dragon.
Stop Shaddolls for a turn. Necros for a turn, and then you would get the other guy who pops cards.
Yep.
More destruction.
I just want to talk a little bit about the deck's matchups because usually people think that this deck's really, really bad and awful, and like it's just that they just don't understand what the deck can do. With the fact that Jin and Vannies are both now gone in the ARG format, this deck's like pretty much free to do whatever it wants with the normal with the inherent summons. So like that's why Blackhorn's a really good card right now. Imperial Iron Wall is going to be sided a lot. Trish isn't a problem, you don't really need to main deck cards like Book of Eclipse anymore. It's just the deck's like really powerful, and you guys should really take into account when you go to your next event, if someone's playing this deck now, you'll know a little bit more about what the cards do and their effects, and how powerful they really are, because the deck's really surprising. It's pretty rogue, and you guys just gotta watch out. So
people, if you want this deck, it's a good amount of money. You might as well get it before skyrockets.
Yeah, the deck's getting support, so like it's a good investment. I don't think it's that much money, but like it can with reprints coming, but like in August when Decatron comes out, hopefully it's not a secret rare. It'll be definitely very prevalent, and it'll probably be meta. So hope you guys had fun.
And this is
Corey Mossberg, my Inferno deck profile.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
Please stay connected with me by adding me on all my social networks on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just copy the link into your search bar and add. Thank you.